All right, so today is actually the fourth class of the beginner series. So all through April, we had a different focus, and it is going to be a beginner's virtual beer yoga. So we'll be doing that online, which should be a lot of fun. That'll be the last one in our beginner series. I'll post some more stuff on that online. But today's focus is going to be on the back. And I don't want anyone to get nervous or worried. Sometimes I hesitate to say back because people think that's bending, which can be, a lot of us don't have flexible backs, especially after we're kids, so that can be pretty intimidating. But the focus is really on back strengthening and good posture, which includes a little bit of back bending. A lot of benefits to, strengthening and bending and stretching your back, and that's kind of to help with posture. It can also help with kind of like the strengthening your abs because you're actually lengthening the stomach muscles as well. And just really strengthening the back can help kind of reduce all that tension around the spine and the connections to the spine, and just help prevent injury and realign your vertebrae. So that's why in this class we'll do some twisting and stuff to help kind of realign the spine as well. One thing that's important in having a strong back is also having a strong core. So we'll do a few core exercises. Core is kind of connected to everything. And then last week we focused on the hips, and I said sometimes people have back pain because you have tight hips. So it's all kind of connected, so we'll make sure we also do some hip stretching as well. Just one thing to keep in mind is when we're doing some back bending, typically, we're looking up, we're opening up, looking behind us. Whenever you're kind of in that position, you want to come up from it very slow, because if you come up quickly, you can get that kind of head rush. So in any kind of back bending position where you're looking behind you, you just want to make sure to take your time to come up nice and slow so you don't get that feeling in your head. All right, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we're going to start in a child's pose. So start the center of your mat, apart, big toes together, sitting back towards your heels, and then just starting to walk. The hands, relax the forehead down, and just start to lengthen your breath. Using this time, start to disconnect from the outer world and really start to turn to your inner world, focusing on breath for the first few moments. Long, deep inhales and exhales through your nose. This pose is actually a really good overall stretch. It's nice and gentle, but it should also feel really good on your back. Down here, we're just going to take a little twist. So walk your hands over to one side. It doesn't matter which side. Bring the forehead back down, coming to a child's pose twist, stretching along a little bit more along the sides and the obliques. You can walk your hands back through to the center and over to the other side. I'm going to just kind of move my dog out of the way a little bit. Just kind of noticing maybe how this side feels compared to the other side. Then you can walk your hands back through to the center again. And coming up halfway, coming up onto the fingertips, drawing the shoulder blades back. One or two more deep breaths here. Then you can walk your hands back. We'll come onto our hands and knees, And we're going to start out with our first spinal stretch. It's going to be a cat-cow pose, but we're going to take our hands and turn them towards us to stretch out our wrists. So if that's too deep to turn your fingers all the way back towards you, you can kind of just turn them out to the side. That's fine. So just kind of stretching out our wrists as we stretch out our spine too. And inhale, you're going to drop your belly, lift that tailbone in the air, lift your chest, look up, and then exhale to round. So rounding the lower back, upper back, chin to your chest. Taking your time, really working through the spinal movement, the spinal articulation as you go through these two poses, warming up your back. One more round of cat-cow. And from here, you can turn your hands just to face forward and just wiggle your tailbone side to side. And, all right. From here, we're going to take our right foot back, flex that foot, lift up through the core, take the opposite arm. You're ready, you're going to lift back up through that back foot, pressing through the heel, forward, and just holding it here, trying not to arch the back, trying to keep it nice and flat. Looking towards your fingertips or just the front of your mat for balance. You're staying here for about 3 more breaths, or you can bend that back knee, reach your hand back, reaching for that foot. So if you can't grab the foot, no problem. If you can, press the foot into the hand. A little bit more in the back bend as you're lifting up through the chest. Quad stretch as well. More breath. Reach out. Come back down. Right, and then we'll move through to the other side. So go ahead and take that left leg back, round through your, lift up through your core, opposite arm forward. Ready here, lift that back leg up. So long straight line, you want to make sure that leg isn't lifted up real high. It's just going straight up. Everything's in line. If something's pulling you from your fingers and you're pushing on something through the back of your heel, deep breath. From here, bend that back knee, reach your hand back, reaching forward. If you can grab it, press the foot into the hand to open the quad, but also lift the chest up, a little bit of a back bend here. Good, and then we're gonna reach out and lengthen, and then come back to our hands and knees. We'll just sit back for a quick child's pose. From here, making your way into a downward facing dog. So feet about hips distance apart, tuck the toes, hips up and back. Just stretch it out here, heel join your feet. So down dog is also a good stretch for our back. It's a good stretch for the back of the legs, shoulders. We'll let the dogs out here. So feeling that nice, kind of just noticing the nice back stretch and downward facing dog. From here, we're going to walk the feet up to the hands. Down forward fold. So bend in the knees. Relax the arms, the shoulders, the head and neck. Up through the hips. Spread out the toes. Your body weight forward a little bit. From here, half lift. So hands come to your shins, draw the shoulders away from your ear, and you want to come to a flat back. So find length. Energy's reaching forward. Exhale, fold forward, deeper. So micro bend in the knees. Inhale, arms to lengthen through your spine. Holding this up, extended mountain pose, hands to heart center. All right, from here, we're going to do some standing movement. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, moving with your breath, standing flow. Lift. Exhale, fold forward deeper. Exhale, reach up. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of a back bend. You're going to keep your hips, kind of bring them forward, reach up, and then start to look back. And we're going to do that again. So think hips come forward. They're really just kind of in line with your feet, but you're kind of thinking to bring them forward. Lengthen through your chest, through your lungs. Open up your throat. See if you can come back a little bit further. You can bend the elbows a little bit if you need to. That's perfectly fine. We'll do that again. Inhale, hips forward. Find length through your stomach, your lungs. Look behind you. And then we're slowly going to come up so you don't get that head rush. Maybe hands, eye area, forehead, to heart center. All right, from here we're going to go through some sun salutations to warm up the whole body. So stepping towards the front of your mat. We'll move through the first one kind of slow. I'll reach up. Exhale. Hinge from the hips, fold forward. Uplift, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands. We're going to step back to a plank, and we're going to hold the plank for a few breaths. Like I said, strong core is really important for your back. The shoulder blades apart, lift up. Hit through the stomach. Sit here for 5, 3, 2, 1. Lower down all the way to your stomach, super slow. All right, from here, typically we do an up dog or cobra, but first level option is going to be Sphinx pose. So for a very beginner, or for, gentler back bend, because cobra and up dog are back bends. It's going to be your first level of back bend, Sphinx pose. From here, we're going to come down, we're going to come into our cobra. So for cobra, what you want to bring your hands back, they're kind of at that sports bra line. At the toes, lift up head, neck, and chest. Your hands should be able to hover. They don't have to. You can use a little bit to get a little bit deeper, but you want most of the work to be coming from your upper back, not from your hands. Exhale, come back down. And from here, we're going to come to that up dog. So there's 2 different types of poses. One is a seal. So seal, straight arms, the legs. Maybe my hips are still on the mat. But for an upward facing dog, we're going to lift everything up. So only the tops of my toes and my hands under that. Draw the shoulders back. This is our up dog. This is the deepest back stretch. It might be too much for some people, so you can always kind of choose your option. Here, coming into downward facing dog. Few breaths here. Spreading out the fingers is really important, so you're protecting your wrists with down dog. Little bend in the knees is perfectly fine, especially if you have tight hamstrings. Back to your breath, looking towards your belly button or just at your knees. From here, bend the knees a lot, look up to the hands, and then step the feet up to the hands, coming into a half lift on an inhale. Exhale, fold deeper. Next, inhale, reach up, lengthen through your spine, and we're going to reach back again. So bring the hips forward, look up, lengthen through the belly, through the lungs, and slowly start to come back for a few breaths. And then you can make your way back up nice and slow. I'm going to do one more sun salutation. So inhale, reach. Exhale, forward. Half lift, inhale. Bend your knees, plant your hands, coming to a plank. All right, let's hold this plank again, just really working on our core for 5, 4, 3, 1. Lower down your choice. So cobra, sphinx are up, dog or seal. Shoulders back, look up. Shoulders are away from the ears always. When you're ready, coming into downward facing dog again. Filling in a few breaths. then you can bend your knees, look up to your hands, walk or step your feet up to your hands, coming into a half lift. On an inhale, fold deeper. Next inhale, lengthen through your spine, and we're going to come back again. Forward, start to look up, then start to come back, seeing if you can come back maybe a little bit further than before. When you're ready, slowly making your way up to standing. From here, we're going to do forward fold. So starting with your feet kind of hips distance together, or they can even be like almost touching. We're going to fold forward. Let's just pause here, coming into the forward fold before we twist. So micro bend in the knees, lifting up through your hips. From here, bend your left knee. Left hand is going to kind of stay right in front of your feet, coming on top of the fingers. Right leg will stay straight. Take the right hand to the right shoulder. You're just going to slowly kind of twist that shoulder open towards the ceiling and then reach the arm up. We tend to want to sit back towards our heels just naturally, so try to bring that body weight forward. Up, so coming onto the fingertips, staying light on the bottom fingertip. Breath. We're going to come up into a twist. So upper body twist, we're going to come all the way up, looking behind us, arms out long. Hips are squared to the front. We're just looking behind us. Breath. And then from here, we'll reach our arms up through to the center. We're going to open up cactus arms. So opening up our chest, our shoulders, like little tiny back bend. It's really good for posture as well. You can bring your hands down and we'll do that forward fold twist on the other side. So just hinging from your hips, feet close together. This time bending the right knee, right fingertips just right in front of your toes, in front of you, left hand to left shoulder. In the left leg, twist, twist, twist that shoulder towards the ceiling, then reach the arm up. Bringing the body weight a little bit forward, looking up towards the fingers, on the bottom fingers. Breath. And then we're going to come all the way up in that twist. So keeping the arms out long, looking over your left shoulder. Hips stay square to the front, just upper body twist. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, open up, cactus arms. Very good. You can release. From here, we're going to do 2 standing balance poses. We're going to start with dancer pose. So dancer pose is a little bit of a back bend. So it doesn't matter what leg you start with one leg and then switch. We'll move on to the other leg. All right, so we're going to start with a quad stretch. So for dancer pose, so you're grabbing the big toe side of your foot. This is a quad stretch, so your back's in line, everything's straight. Bring the opposite arm up with whatever knee's bent. Here, we're going to start to hinge forward just a little bit. You can soften that standing knee and then press that foot into the hand. You don't want to open up the hip. You want to keep that bottom hip square as you come forward, and then start to heart forward, lengthen through your spine, lift up, a little bit of a back bend as you keep pressing the foot into the hand to open up the quad as well. 2 breaths here, just doing the best you can, not taking it too seriously. 1 more breath. We're going to come back up, and we're going to come to a figure 4 stretch. Figure 4, mostly stretching the hips, hands to heart center, chest stays left lifted, so lengthen through your back, through your spine. Deep breaths here. And down. Good, and then you can come all the way up to standing. Roll out that ankle. So staying on that same ankle, the same side, really helping to strengthen the ankle. All right, and let's set up for the other side. Ground through the other foot. Find something to focus your eyes on to help you balance, just something maybe in front of you, in front of the mat. Grabbing the big toe side of your foot to set up for your dancer pose. Opposite arm reaches up. Hinge forward, softening the standing. Leg pressing a foot into the hand as you come forward. Try not to open that hip too much. Square the hip down. Lift your chest up. Pressing the foot into the hand to open up the quad is forward. One more breath here. Slowly make your way back up, and we'll make our way into that figure four stretch. Bending at your knee. I feel like the light into your figure four stretch. With the light here. Let me just hold on, guys, a second. Sorry, I feel like the light is really harsh and you can't see me. Take a drink of water here. That should be a little bit better. About that. All right, so let's continue. I may try to adjust that again. Right. From here, we're going to step towards the front of the mat again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Take a big step back with the left foot. We're going to come into a low lunge. Front knees over your ankle. Hands come to your front knee. We're going to reach those arms up, lengthen through your spine, and then we're going to open up cactus arms. So opening up your shoulders, your chest, looking up. You can make it a little bit of a back bend, and looking up, maybe looking back. And then we're going to come forward again, and we're going to come to a twist. So left hand comes down, right hand to right knee, open up, opening up the arm, the shoulder, the back. You can bring that hand back down. We're going to walk both hands back to that half splits pose. So stretching underneath the leg, the hamstring. Bring your forehead towards that front knee. Staying there for about 5 deep breaths. All right. And then we'll come forward. We're going to lift that back leg up. Just step back to a downward facing dog. And we're going to switch and come to the other side, starting with that low lunge. So bring the left foot through between the hands. Drop that back knee down and back. And then just take your time to make your way up. From here, we'll reach the arms up, and then we'll make our way into cactus arms on this side, opening up the shoulders, the chest, helping with posture and reversing that forward hunching that we do. You can make it more into a back bend by looking up, maybe coming back. Breath. And we'll bring our hands forward. We're going to come into the twist on the other side. The right hand comes down, left hand to left knee, and then reach that arm up towards doing. Good, and you can bring that hand back down, and we're going to walk the hands back for then half splits pose. So that front knee doesn't need to be bent, but working towards straightening it. Hips stay high over the knee, square the hips. Left hip back, right hip forward as you fold forward. From here, we're going to come forward again. Just step that foot back so you're on your hands and knees. All right. From here, we're going to come to a forearm plank. So working a little bit more in core. So you can bring your forearms down. You can interlace your hands. Draw those shoulders apart, shoulders away from your ear. And then you can step one foot back long and the other. All right. From here, we're going to do hip dips. So you're going to bring your hip up and over. We'll take your little space between your feet. So bring your hips up and over to one side so the heels can drop down. And then bring the hips up and over to the other side. So let's do 10 of those. So it'll be about 5 on each side. Hips come up and over. And this little twist might also feel good for your back as well. But it's also strengthening our and our core. Do 5 more. 3, 2, 1. I want you to just hold that forearm plank. Hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come onto your knees. We'll take a child's pose. The option for this one is to take your hands behind you, knees together, and bring your forehead down. All right, and then we're going to make our way to a seat. And we're just going to start with a seated, a wide leg forward fold. So take the feet out nice and wide, legs out nice and wide. Flex your feet. We're just going to sit up straight. Your hands to your inner thighs. They naturally want to roll in. We want them to come up straight. From here, lengthen your spine, and we're going to keep a straight back as we come forward. So mostly working the inner legs, a little bit the knees, so you can slide your hands, your knees, keep that chest lifted, and start to come forward. Coming back to your breath here. One more deep breath here. Slowly make your way back up. You can bring your feet together. We're going to bend the knees. We're going to come to a reverse tabletop pose. So this is really good for our back. It's good for counter stretch for a lot of forward folds. You want to keep those hips up high. Allow your head to drop back if that feels okay. Staying here a few breaths. And then we're going to lower back down. We're going to set up for a seated twist. All right, so a lot of times in our twist, we'll cross our foot over top of the other knee. This time, we're just going to keep this foot right next to the knee, just another variation for the twist. Find length in your spine. Whatever knee's bent, you're going to take that opposite arm and reach it up. So it's going to be opposite arm to opposite knee. Inhale, exhale, bring the elbow to the knee. Now from here, for your twist, I want you to think of bringing that belly up and over the inner thigh. So upper body twist, and each inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, twist. Think of up and over. Look behind you, so you're also getting a neck stretch as well. Look in the direction you want to go. Twisting is really good for our spine health, and for our back. They say twisting can be good for your digestion as well. Then we'll come back through to the center and switch sides. So other knee comes in towards your chest, other leg out long, sitting up nice and straight, pressing the pad of that foot down. I'll reach up. It's going to be opposite arm, opposite knee. Find length. Exhale. And stomach up and over the thigh, elbow to knee. Looking over that shoulder, using that hand behind your back to help you sit up straighter. Up. One more deep breath here. And we'll come back through to the center. Go ahead and shake out your legs. From here, we're going to bring the knees in towards our chest. We're going to point the toes to kind of like we're coming into a nice tight ball. Your chest is towards your knees, your toes are pointed. And we're going to roll back and forth along our spine, which is really good for our spine, for our spine health. So we're going to roll back, come back up. See if you can control it. Use your core so where you're not coming down, you're just kind of hovering the toes. We'll do this 4 or 5 times, rolling back along your spine, coming up to hover. With control. And come back up, straighten your back. Let's do one more. All right, very good. And from here, we're going to come onto our hands and knees again. We're going to come into puppy pose. So, that blanket option is to put it under your knees if you need a little extra padding for your knees, but if you're not thick enough, then you might be just fine. So puppy pose, knees hips distance apart, keeping the hips over top of the knees. Start to walk your hands forward, bringing the forehead down. Option, if your arms, your shoulders are more flexible and you want to get deeper, you can bring the chin down as well if that doesn't strain your neck too much. This is another option to go a little bit deeper. So this pose is really good for our shoulders, opening up the shoulders, the chest, and the upper back. Back to your breath here. One or 2 more breaths here in puppy pose. And then you're going to walk your hands back. We're going to come onto our knees. So again, if you need that blanket underneath your knees, because we're on our knees a little bit, you can just put it there. It's extra padding. We're going to come into camel pose. So we're going to start out with, it's called dancing camel. It's basically a one-arm camel. You can start out tucking your toes. That basically makes your heels lifted up a little bit more. It makes it a little easier to reach your heels in the back. But we can start with one arm down, the other arm up. But just like any back bend, you want to think to bring the hips forward. So we don't want to kind of lean back like this. We want to keep our hips over top of our knees as we're back bending. Lengthen through the stomach, lengthen through the chest. Reach that top arm up. Bottom hand comes down. It's reaching for that back heel. You can get there, maybe not. But you want to think to keep pressing the hips forward. Up towards the fingers. So we're going to slowly make our way up, moving nice and slow so we don't get that head rush, and we're just going to switch arms. So opposite arm comes up, other hand reaches behind your back. Inhale, press your hips forward, lengthen through your spine, reach the arm up, reach back. Up. Slowly make your way back up. Be nice and slow so you don't get that head rush. All right, we're going to do one more camel. This time, we'll start out with our hands behind our lower back, and you're going to squeeze the elbows in towards each other. You can relax the feet for this one. For this one, it doesn't matter if you touch your feet or your heels or not, but we're going to bring the hips forward, lengthen through your spine, look up, squeeze the elbows towards each other. Option, if you want, you can release the hands and they can reach for the heels. You don't have to. You can keep them on your lower back. Keep pressing the hips forward. Open up your throat. Heart lifts up and forward. There are 2 more breaths here. Moving nice and slow. If your hands are down, bringing it back to your lower back. Your way back up, pause, and then we're going to come, our counter stretch will be rabbit pose. You're going to tuck pose, grab the bottom of your feet and round your lower back as you bring the top of your head down. Lifting the hip up to round the back, nice counter stretch, staying here for a few breaths. All right, very good. From here, you can come onto your hands and knees. We're going to come into a downward facing dog, but we're just setting up for pigeon pose. So lifting the hips up and back, stretching it out. From here, maybe coming to a 3-legged down dog, lifting that right leg up. You can bring the right knee behind the right wrist, right foot over to the left side to come into pigeon. Drop the back knee down, start to walk the back knee back. From here, we're going to come into our upright pigeon to start with, which is actually a little bit of a back bend. So drawing the shoulders back, lengthening through the spine, staying up here a few breaths. Whenever you're ready, you can walk your hands forward, maybe coming onto the forearms. Or if you prefer, you can reach your arms out in front of you, bring your forehead all the way down. We're going to stay in this pose a little bit longer, staying here about a full minute. Just allow yourself to release and relax into the pose. Closing your eyes, using this time to just kind of come back to your breath. More deep breath here. And then you can slowly walk your hands back, coming up to an upright pigeon. Gonna palms into the mat, lift up through the hips, maybe finishing in that 3-legged down dog again. You're just back into a down dog, stretching it out. Bring that leg back down. Just stretching it out in a regular down dog. And then we'll set up for the other side. So lift that left leg up, 3-legged down dog again, heels up towards the ceiling, and then bring the left knee behind the left wrist. Back knee back. And we'll pause here in this upright pigeon. So last week when we stretched out the hips, I said a lot of times hips can actually be connected to back as well, just because of over kind of compensating or overuse the spine when our hips are tight. So it's important to stretch out the hips when we're on our back as well. Whenever you're ready, you can make your way down to a resting pigeon. Resting on the forearms, or reaching the arms forward and coming all the way down on the forehead. One more deep breath here. Walk your hands back. Lifting up through the shoulders, maybe lifting that leg up. Trying to come and finish in that three-legged down dog. And then just a regular downward facing dog. We'll come onto our hands and knees, and then all the way onto our stomach. All right. So from here, you can bring your forehead down onto your hands in front of you, and we're just going to do some Pilates-style back strengtheners, starting with the upper back and then the lower back. So keeping the hands on the head because we want to keep the spine long. Hips down in the lower back down. We're going to start to lift up, just working the upper back, not coming up super high. We're going to do about 10 of these, just kind of strengthening the back. We'll do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. You can just rest down here, and then next we're going to focus on just the lower back. So you're going to point your toes, finding length in your legs, and then start to lower the feet. So they don't need to come up super high. You want to make sure the hips stay down. We're doing 10 of these. So strengthening the lower back with this one. One or 2 more. And then you can release, so just relaxing on your belly for a few breaths. All right, from here, go ahead and bend that left knee, or whichever knee. I'm bending my right knee. Same hand back goes same hand that the knee's bent. You can reach for the top of that foot. Arm is going to reach forward. So if this doesn't feel good, you're just going to stay here. If it feels okay, you're going to lift up. So reaching everything up. Half go, little back bend. Stay here for 5, 4, 2, 1. Release. You can bring your forehead to your head to your forehead. Windshield wiper the knees side to side a few times. We're going to set up for the other side. So go ahead and bend the other knee. Reach that hand back, opposite arm comes forward. You can stay here, and it's totally fine. If you want to get it a little bit deeper, reach everything up. Keep pressing the foot into the hand. And through the arm, lift that back foot up. Or deep breath here. Go ahead and release, bringing the forehead to the hands, windshield wiper in the knees a few times, side to side. All right. Maybe grabbing a drink of water here, and then we're going to come onto our back, and we're going to finish lying down on our back. All right. So we're going to start. Go ahead and bring your knees in towards your chest, and we're going to do a few circles. So we're actually going to massage our lower back onto the mat 3 or 4 times in one direction, 3 or 4 times on the other direction. And then from here, we're going to set up for some bridge flows, is what I'm going to call them. So your heels are in towards you, feet about hips distance apart. We're gonna reach our arms up. So hands are parallel. Imagine maybe you have a block between your hands. And then we're gonna lift our hips up, reach our arms up overhead. Inhale, exhale, lower our hips down to hover, hands come up to us. Inhale, lift the hips up high, reach the arms overhead, extend. Exhale, lower down, hover. Lifting the hips up nice and high, maybe squeezing the glutes at the top. And go ahead and move at your own pace. We're going to do about 10 more of these. So stretching out the back, strengthening the back, also working the glutes. Maybe a little bit the inner thighs. You want to keep the knees parallel. So you're kind of energetically squeezing those inner thighs towards each other. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one. Then you can lower back down. Right. Take the feet out wide and then just drop the knees in towards each other. Staying here for a few breaths. Next, we're going to do a supported bridge pose. So we don't have a block, but normally for this pose, you'd be placing a block underneath your hips. And we're going to use our hands. So we're going to modify. Heels come in towards you. Lift your hips up. You're going to make like an L with both of your hands, and then you're going to place it just right underneath your hips. So elbows straight underneath you, elbows kind of squeezed towards each other, hips up high. Your hands to kind of help support yourself in this bridge, taking a little bit of pressure off, lifting your chin up away from your chest. Staying here for a few breaths. All right, so from here you can release your hands, lower down, upper back, middle back, lower back, then just hug your knees in towards your chest. All right, one more bridge pose. Option to do a full wheel pose, a full back bend. If this is something you want to work on, if you know your back, it feels okay and flexible enough for your back. If not, just come to one of the other 2 options. So supported bridge, regular bridge, maybe you want to do a one-legged bridge. So whichever option you want to do, let's go ahead and make our way into it. Coming into the wheel pose, you might want to come on the top of your head first. Chest comes forward. Staying in it as long as you feel comfortable. Bringing the chest forward in your bridge pose. Whenever you're ready to make your way down, just hug the knees in towards your chest, maybe rocking side to side a few times. Actually, let's go ahead and rock forward and back along our spine like we did at the beginning. And we're going to make our way all the way up to a seat, and we're going to come to a seated forward fold. So forward fold is a really good counter stretch for our bridge pose. So just hinging the hips, reaching forward. Deep breath here. Then you can go ahead and release, and we'll make our way back onto our backs. And go ahead and take your right knee in towards your chest. Left leg is out long. We're going to come to a twist. So bring that right knee up and over to the left side. Allow your hips to come up. For that twist, opposite arm can be bent up overhead, or it can be out out at a cactus arm onto the side, working towards getting that opposite shoulder down. It doesn't need to be all the way down, it's just kind of working towards it. I'm just really starting to relax here. So the twist, allowing the spine to realign towards the end of class, all the different moves and stretching that we did. One more deep breath here. And then you can slowly make your way back through to the center. We'll switch sides. And the other hand towards your chest, bring it up nice and high, and then you're going to bring it up and over to the other side. Opposite arm can be out long, it can be a cactus arm, so just bent up over you, but you're trying to kind of that shoulder down, looking up or looking in the opposite direction of your knee. More deep breath. And then we'll come back through to the center. We're going to stretch our arms out nice and long, straighten the legs. So just finding length in your spine, like someone's pulling you from your fingertips and then someone else is pulling at your ankles, stretching you out nice and long. Before we make our way into Shavasana, we're going to find our blanket. I want you to roll your blanket up, and we're going to place it underneath our knees. And this is going to be for our Shavasana. Having that little bend in the knee and the blanket under our knee is going to help our back actually relax a little bit more. So once you have that blanket set up under your knees, you can come back onto your back, allow a little space, allow the feet to open up for your Shavasana. And then make your way back down. Maybe just allowing the palms to be up towards the ceiling. Using this time to really just allow your body to completely relax. Being able to have stillness, movement is just as important as being able to have that busyness in the movement and the stretching. So just allow yourself this time, these few moments to just let go. Your body to relax, nothing in particular you have to think of, no particular breathing. Being deeper towards the mat. Allow yourself to just get heavy. Just release. From here, go ahead and take a nice deep inhale, complete exhale. And then again, nice deep inhale, complete exhale. Just start to roll out your ankles, roll out your wrists a few times in each direction. Maybe reach the arms up overhead, fully waking your body up. So maybe rolling onto your side, staying there for 1 or 2 breaths. And then when you're ready, making your way all the way up to a seat. All right. We'll finish by bringing our hands to our heart center, taking one more nice deep inhale, complete exhale. And just allow a moment to feel a sense of inner peacefulness, sense of gratitude, and allowing the positive energy you feel from your practice benefit to yourself and the people around you throughout the evening. Okay. All right, thank you guys.